Hi, Snehal.
Hello. Hi, Nupur. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone. Hi, how are you?
Happy Diwali to all of you. Happy Diwali, Snehal.
Happy Diwali, Nupur, and to everyone, all our lovely community members.
Yes,
And we are here, I think, after really long time, right, to do like an Ask Me Anything kind of a video. So the
exactly.
floor is all open. We are here to take any questions, concerns, doubts, or anything that you have. So feel free to leave them in the comments, and we will try our best to answer all of them. But those of you all who don't know me, I am Snehal. I am based in Mumbai and I live with type 1 diabetes since the last 22 years. I have been a little MIA on the Blue Circle workshop since a couple of months, but hoping that I'm back now and I'm excited to be here. So, yes, hoping to chit chat with you all and do let us know how your Diwali celebrations have been, how your sugars have been in the Diwali festive mood. What have you binged on, and how your sugars have been, and like how you managed to ensure your sugars are in good control along with all the festive sweets and namkeen and everything that you have ate. So yes, looking forward to chatting with you all and get to know you and how your festive celebrations have been. So let us know in the comments below, and me and Nupur will be here chit chatting as always, and answering your questions and any doubts or anything you want to ask to us. This is an open forum for everyone to join in and talk with us. So yes, looking forward to it. And if you are not already following us on all the social media platforms, this is a gentle reminder. So we are there on all social media handles, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, and we are there. So please show us some love and support, and follow us there as well if you are not already following. And we have a very active blog for all the new people who have joined the community. And the blog has a lot of useful information on different topics written by our community members themselves, and different topics such as sick day management, which I have been reading a lot. I've been a little sick recently, so I usually go back to the blog, and sometimes, like remembering the basics is the key to manage your blood sugars
Yeah.
when you're sick is very important. So we have a lot of useful information in the blog, so do give it a read, and I'm sure if you have any questions, they will already be answered in the blog. Hello, hi Rajiv ji, how are you? Rajiv ji says he didn't go overboard during Diwali. That's great, same
Oh,
here.
that's really so nice and so hard to do, right? Especially for our newer
Yeah.
friends, when they feel left out. But what are your tips, Snehal, for Diwali? How did you? And of course, Rajiv ji as well. Please tell us in the comments. Would love to.
Yeah. So you know what? Like growing up, I think I've realized that I do not like all the Diwali sweets or namkeen. Like,
Yeah.
and now
I
I've
know,
become very
same, same.
picky about what I want to eat.
Yeah,
पहले कैसे होता था कि anything that is offered to you, you will eat it. Just because
correct.
it's a festive atmosphere and सब लोग खा रहे हैं. But now I've
Correct.
realized कि मुझे सब कुछ नहीं पसंद है. So I
True.
only always stick to what I like. So I usually binge on chakli and karanji, you know and
Wow.
other than that, I leave everything aside. Like I don't really enjoy eating the pedas and laddus and all of that. I don't enjoy like that farar and namkeen, like. So I'm picking and choosing ki ye khate hai, and let's skip the other things. So that's my trick. And it has
Nice.
not come to me in one day. Like it has been a journey ki I've also been through those days jab main sab khati thi, like anything is offered and I never said no. So that
Correct.
has been like a learning curve for me as well. But for everyone who's joining us new, please pick and choose your tricks from me and Nupur, like, because you don't have
Correct.
to go through the mistakes that we did. You can pick and choose from whatever tricks that we share, like that. Hi Vikram. Hi, hello Ravindra.
Hi,
Ravinder, sorry.
everyone.
Hi.
And especially for our friends who are just joining us, drop a comment like our other friends have left a comment and tell us whether you can see us, hear us, tell us where you're joining from, which city are you in, which town are you in, how was your Diwali. And
Yeah.
like Snehal said earlier, this workshop today is a more relaxed one, and we are calling it AMA, which is Ask Me Anything. So, feel free to ask us anything, share with us anything about diabetes. And of course, it's a virtual coffee session as well. तो मैं तो अपना कप लेके आ गई हूँ. And I hope you all are enjoying your chai and coffee as well. And recently, Snehal, मैंने group पे देखा, there was a post by one of our newer members. And he posted a very interesting question जो मैंने बहुत सालों बाद सुना है, and that was, how many of you drink chai without sugar? And that kind of triggered a lot of responses from
Yeah.
people. And I'm not sure if he's watching us live. I hope he's watching us because we're talking about him as well. But really interesting to see because बहुत साल पहले I used to like, I would love my chai. I still love chai, but like proper masala chai जो घर में बनती है, या which we get outside also. But I used to have it with sugar. And then
Yeah.
some years back, maybe like 10, 12 years back, I completely stopped, having any sugar at all. And even in one person's journey of diabetes, so many different things happen. Like, I tell people, where I am now is not how I used to be all the
Yeah.
time. I used
Yeah.
to eat everything. Things were different. So that's my thing. Now I have my chai and coffee. I have it black without milk and
Yeah.
without sugar also. I know Snehal also likes black coffee, and
Black
I
coffee always.
know your suggestions, Snehal. What do you do
Yeah.
with your chai and coffee?
So I was never a tea person, like I never liked tea. So only when I
Yeah.
was sick, तभी मम्मी वो जो काढ़ा बना के देती थी ना थोड़ा सा गुड़ डाल के, only that was the time I used to have tea. But otherwise
Hmm.
always had coffee. And then
Acha.
I knew that even one cup of milk, like without
Yeah.
sugar as well, I need some bolus for that.
Right.
So, and my day never started without having like one cup of coffee. And I used to have sugar in it, like एकदम कम करके आधा चम्मच ऐसे करके. Then I
Correct.
decided to experiment on myself कि चलो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके ना शक्कर कम करते हैं. And
Yeah.
then suddenly one day I stopped having sugar in my coffee. And then I started realizing the actual sweetness of milk. And now like few years ago I started having my cup of coffee, like milk coffee without sugar.
Wow.
And now after I realized like milk is not suiting me, so I don't have raw milk anymore, so I've moved to like black coffee. Obviously
Yeah.
it's like zero carbs, zero calories, so no tension of like anything. You can have as many cups as you want.
Correct.
And yes, I think that has been my journey with like coffee without sugar. And like I know a lot of people also prefer having little stevia chota chota golia and that. But anyways, like I think if you start having coffee or like milk without sugar, you will soon
Yeah.
realize that milk has its own sweetness. And you will realize it within a week. जब आप बंद करोगे ना चाय लाइक मिल्क में शक्कर डालना, आपको एक हफ्ते में ही समझ में आ जाएगा कि लाइक मिल्क हैज इट्स ओरिजिनल स्वीट टेस्ट, एंड यू विल स्टार्ट एंजॉयिंग दैट नेचुरल टेस्ट rather than adding sugar into it. So if
Correct.
anyone wants to try that, do try it out for just 1 week, and then let us know here like how did that fare well with you.
Yeah.
Hello, hi
Exactly. We'll
everyone, a
be.
lot of new people joined in. Hi Neelam, hi Samihan. Oh, Rajiv ji says he's been sugar free. He's having sugar free tea since 1970s. Wow.
Wow. Amazing. That is really an achievement. And
Yes.
there's always so much of talk around, should we have sugar, should we not have sugar. Some people say acha, we can have and then take insulin, and then some people say it's good not to have, and then some people say sweeteners, and that's one whole big sort of discussion in itself. But I think we are off to a great start. And thank you for sharing, everyone, where all of you are joining from, and what you're eating, and how your Diwali is going. And I can see all different: Chandrapur, Bangalore, I know Delhi, Pune. We have people watching from all across the country. It's so good to see all of you. And hopefully you're all enjoying your Diwali. and you've had a good sort of celebration and experience beyond the food as well. Kyuki, what happens many times is that we just get stuck in the food part of it. Like Snehal shared her tip about she only likes chakli or she only likes certain things. But sometimes we just feel, that we are missing out on something, and that makes us feel bad. But I think Diwali or any festival is a lot about bonding with your family, your friends, the people that you love and want to be with. So that's a good occasion to use
It's
that
not
time.
just about food, like it's about a lot of other things. The joy, the happiness, the fuljadi, the rangoli, and like talking with your friends, families, neighbors. So
Yeah.
it's a lot about that as well, and not just about food. So I think that's a gentle reminder, especially for us who are living with diabetes. It's important that we give ourselves continuously that it's not just about food. It's a lot of other things as well.
Right, exactly.
Okay, Neelam says that her daughter is 10 years old and she's type 1. Her doctor has suggested not to give insulin if the sugar level is below 100. Is that okay? So,
I think it
Neelam,
depends.
yeah, I think it's also important that you just mention how long has she been diagnosed, because if
Correct.
it's a honeymoon period, like just after diagnosis, then her sugars will be in range even if you don't give her insulin. But if it's been more than a year or so, I think it's not safe to stop insulin even if your blood sugars are below 100. You have
Yeah.
to have your basal as always, no excuse there. Oh, she was diagnosed a month ago.
Okay, Neelam, another suggestion. I don't know if you're in one of our WhatsApp groups, but I want to tell you two things other than what Snehal said about the dosing. One, ये screen पे ना अभी एक blue ticker है. So if you're in our Facebook group, it's called Diabetes Support Network India. You can post your questions on the Facebook group as well. So please join the group. I'll share the link in this chat box as well. Also, if you're not part of our WhatsApp group, please message Snehal or me on Facebook. Find us on the group and send us a message with your number if you want to get added onto our WhatsApp. And I think what Snehal said, I would also like to, reiterate the same thing that it's not that below 100 you don't need insulin, but because you are newly diagnosed, I think it'll take some time for you to figure out कब देना है, कितना देना है, और डायबिटीज में आपको एक्सपेरिमेंट करते रहना है। इतने सालों बाद भी हम लोगों के जो शुगर्स हैं और डायबिटीज ओवरऑल जो मैनेजमेंट है, इट इज अ लॉट अबाउट द एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन, सो डोंट बी स्केर्ड टू एक्सपेरिमेंट। चेक योर डॉटर्स शुगर्स ऑफन, ग्लूकोमीटर पे, सीजीएम पे, जो भी आप यूज कर रहे हैं, and try and maintain her sugars in the range that you have decided.
And Neelam, I was diagnosed when I was 11 years old. So I think very close by 10 years, 11 years. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the Facebook group, or you can also schedule a call with any of our Dia buddies on the Blue Circle Buddy Project helpline, where you can talk one to one with any of our Dia buddies and uh, get to have your answers, like questions answered from any one of us. So that is also another platform that you can use. But again, I know it's quite soon for you to get into all the details. बहुत कुछ है जानने के लिए, और अभी एक महीना ही हुआ है. I think the first and the foremost thing I would recommend is like don't skip your doses. Like be regular in monitoring and taking your insulin on time. I think that is the first and foremost important thing. उसके बाद हम बाकी की चीजें सीखेंगे, कैसे खाना एडजस्ट करना है, खाने के हिसाब से कैसे इंसुलिन ले, दैट यू विल लर्न एज एन व्हेन यू गो अहेड इन योर जर्नी. बट सबसे पहले तो आप याद से जो डोसेज है उसके हिसाब से इंसुलिन दे और टाइम पे इंसुलिन दे. दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. There's another question, Nupur. Is protein released in urine normal in type 1 diabetes? I think her son is 9 years old and diagnosed 1 year ago.
So Anuradha, I think that you'll have to mention what parameters, because प्रोटीन में भी जब चेक होता है तब क्रिएटिनिन है, माइक्रो एल्ब्यूमिन है, उसके रेशियोज है. सो maybe after this workshop what you can do is either on the WhatsApp group or on the Facebook group आप जो reports हैं उसका एक photo भेज सकते हैं. And then we can take a look and understand what's going on. Usually if you're concerned about the kidney function, I think what happens is your concern is valid, लेकिन सालों साल अगर blood sugars uncontrolled रहते हैं, then there are chances of developing kidney issues, and we have some experts here in the audience as well. So but I think that most probably there'll be nothing to worry, and but still for your peace of mind आप रिपोर्ट्स का एक फोटोग्राफ ग्रुप पे डाल सकते हैं, एंड वी कैन then have a look at it.
Yes, I think
um,
that there's a lot of other parameters to take note of, like whenever we talk about proteins in urine, kitna hai, is it in the range, it's out of range, like, and what parameter exactly are we talking about? So on the basis of that, uh, we can give some suggestions around that.
right.
Samiyan
And your
says he's had some good crafts in Diwali. That's great, Samiyan.
how, tell us how. Give us tips also.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Presently in my hometown in Jammu, and no cheating on Diwali Day. That's wonderful. Congratulations and all the best for your routine tests also. It's so important actually. That's a great reminder sabhi ke liye ki you have to do your routine tests. Some tests are annual, जो साल में एक बार कराने पड़ते हैं, जैसे कि आपका आई चेकअप हो गया, which is for
mm,
checking for diabetic retinopathy. You have to do a funduscopy, and that needs to be done once a year. There are some other tests that you have to do more often. HbA1c, जिसको short form में A1c भी बोल सकते हैं, that you need to do at least once in 3 months. So there are many tests, and we have, like Snehal was saying at the beginning of the workshop, we have blogs and videos as well. So blog का भी link मैं comment section में डाल दूंगी, ताकि if
and
somebody wants
one,
to,
like one very good way to never forget कि आपको
yeah,
ब्लड टेस्ट कब कराने हैं साल में is to do it around your birthday. Like it's like a
right,
gift from yourself आपके बर्थडे के दिन पे, that you go and do all your routine tests, your eye checkup and everything. Like your birthday week has to be like when you keep ensure yourself that you're healthy. Go and check your do your blood test, routine tests, uh, and just share your numbers here on the group, and like we can figure it out from there.
right.
Yeah, and yeah, I was just going to talk about the blog as well. Like we have a blog that mentions all the routine tests that we as people living with diabetes should do every year. And like Nupur said, HbA1c जो test है वो हम 3 महीने का average sugar देता है, so you can keep on doing it every 3 months. That is like the recommended frequency. तो आपके HbA1c numbers will definitely give you a general idea कि आपका शुगर का ट्रेंड कैसे जा रहा है. Is it on the higher side, lower side, or it's in range? So HbA1c test भी every quarter you should go ahead and do it. Sonali is asking, how do we deal with type 1 constantly and still be mentally strong? Nupur, you want to share some thoughts on this?
Yes, sure. I think Snehal and I have lots to say here, and and of course Sonali, I mean, we know you so well as well. It's just it is a challenge. I think one of the first things to do maybe is to acknowledge that yes, it's a problem, it's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah,
अगर हम पहले accept ही ना करें कि and I'm sharing this for the newer people. Also, I know Sonali's daughter has been at it for a long time, and Sonali, and both of them have been so cool about it. Whenever I see them at meetups also, they're super cool mom and daughter combo. But I think first step, is that you need to acknowledge that हाँ मुझे type 1 है, and there's a parent, Neelam, whose daughter was diagnosed 1 month ago.
yeah,
So I think ये चीज एक्सेप्ट करना, इसको डाइजेस्ट करना, इसमें ही बहुत टाइम निकल जाता है. That we just don't it's hard for us to digest this fact that until yesterday the child was okay and everything was fine, and then what happened suddenly, and then for people who've had it for a long time, like Rama or Snehal or me, I think it's just about taking it one day at a time, and not all days are perfect. And I know this, and I tell myself this, and some days I get really annoyed with everything and the way things go. That is the
Yeah.
reality of it. But uh, we just have to take one step at a time, and that's perhaps the only way. Snehal, what are your
Yeah, and
thoughts?
like Nupur said, it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's difficult, and especially when you're like sick, or when your sugars are not following the book. कि हमने तो सब सही से किया फिर भी sugars ऊपर नीचे हो रहे. There are days like that. And there's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, there are certain things which are out of your control. So आप जो कर सकते हो आपके हिसाब से that you have supposed to do. And I think I have always been open about this fact that I as a person who's been living with type 1 for 22 years, I have had this episodes of diabetes burnout, I think once in 4 5 months. I always go through this episodes of like अरे मुझे ही क्यों हुआ. And see, even though I've been living with type 1 for 22 years, like in spite of that, I still get this thoughts कि मुझे क्यों हुआ, मुझे क्यों check करना पड़ रहा है, like why I have to like not eat certain things that I want to eat, or like why my sick days are so difficult. So all of these questions and all of these things will come up. So I think the most important thing that's personally helped me also is like reaching out to my community. And that's why
Yeah,
the monthly meetups are so important for me. Like I never skip them. I always ensure that जब भी date or time decide होता है, I always mark it in my calendar that I am there. Because if even if you believe it or not, there's a subconscious shift, when you meet people like you who are living through the same condition, and what are their challenges and how are they managing. So जब आप एक दूसरे से मिलते हो, बात करते हो, देखते हो कि उनकी क्या problems है, and if you can pick up any tips and tricks from them, I think that has helped me a lot, like as a person and as someone who's been on this journey for a really long time. And I think I've been very open about the diabetes burnout thing. Like it's very common, and it's okay to have your diabetes burnout days as well. Like wherein you start questioning your type 1, and when you start questioning the universe, like it's okay. So just be kind to yourself, just be compassionate to yourself, and like it's okay. You will have some good days, you will have some bad days. I think that's generally how life is. So it's important to know that be kind to yourself. I think that's one thing that has always worked for me, because I think I have that true capricorn trait. Like I'm very hard on myself. Like अरे ऐसे इतना सब करने के बाद भी sugars क्यों नहीं आ रही है. Like, and especially like I was very sick the last week, and my sugars were like the first day my sugars were like like about 220. And I was so angry at myself. Like, and I also was like trying not to rage bolus कि मैं फटाफट बहुत सारा इंसुलिन ना लूं. So it was very difficult कि भाई तुम let it be. Like let that one day be a bad day, it's okay. So
yeah,
that's how. And like when you are with the support and the love of your family and your community, I think that's how you like get to be strong as well, and like accept these bad days as well.
absolutely. I totally agree. It's just it's not a bed of roses. It's I think it's roses and thorns both.
Yeah.
Type 1s can't do without insulin. Absolutely right. And I think I was just chatting with someone recently, and we were talking about how पहले I mean social media नहीं था, internet usage भी कम हुआ करता था, and still people would want to try alternative therapies. They would want to try homeopathy, ayurveda, whatever. But now with WhatsApp and YouTube and all these good things, because we also are connected all through these channels, but these channels are also a medium of misinformation, because there are many people, whether they are babas or they are so-called doctors who claim that I'll free you from insulin.
Yeah.
So I think really important to be careful, especially newly diagnosed people who are watching this. Uh, very important. We cannot do without insulin if you have type 1 diabetes. And in fact today's post, so because November is diabetes month, and I think sabhi ko pata hai ki 14th of November is World Diabetes Day, and if anyone knows why it's World Diabetes Day, please tell us in the comments. I'm sure like most of you know, but please tell us why is 14 November World Diabetes Day. तो वो एक चीज है. The second thing is that the whole of November, I mean, ये तो हम साल भर करते हैं awareness create करना, but I think in this month a little bit more, because um, so we've been sharing these posts in the last few days. If you see today's posts on Instagram or on Facebook as well, it talks about in very simple language that type 1 diabetes cannot do without insulin, and that's in English and Hindi. And you guys are all welcome to डाउनलोड दैट पोस्टर, शेयर इट ऑन योर स्टेटस. मैंने आज अपने व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस पे बहुत दिनों बाद कुछ डाला है, ताकि द पीपल हु आर नॉट डायबिटिक इवन दे कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज मेनी टाइम्स हम लोग सिर्फ आपस में बात करते हैं, एंड व्हाट जो बाकी के लोग हैं जो नॉन डायबिटिक्स हैं, स्कूल के फ्रेंड्स हैं या टीचर्स हैं या कलीग्स हैं, उनको पता ही नहीं लगता है. दे डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट whether it is type 1 or type 2. So, really important to sometimes, share that sort of information from time to time.
Yeah, and I think we would absolutely love it if you guys can download the template जो हम अभी पूरे ये नवंबर हम काफी template share करेंगे on the basics of diabetes, and because we have been living in this diabetes zone since a really long time, we know the lingo around it, like we know कि ये क्या है, ये word का meaning क्या है, but a lot of our friends who are not living with diabetes, उनको कुछ पता ही नहीं रहता है. So it's important that we keep on sharing this as much as we can, and like please use your social media platforms as well to create more awareness around it. Okay,
Correct.
Ravinder says that he's using insulin pens for both slow and fast, and there are a lot of brands of needles available in the market, and some pinch more, some result in bruises. Please suggest the brand of needles which do not cause any injury. So I think I have been using the same brand of needles, like I have not experiment outside that.
Yeah.
I think the one which I use is the Bayer, is the contour. Sorry, I may be wrong. Wait, is the
BD का है.
BD, huh? Right. I think I have the packet also here with me. Yeah, it's the BD ultra fine needle syringes. I think this is the one that I use, and I have been using this red cap syringe as well and the orange cap syringe as well, and even the
Yes.
pen needles.
हाँ, स्नेहल पेन का भी you're using BD only, ना?
Yeah. See, I have the pen needle also. Yeah, pen ka bhi BD ultra fine pen needles. This is it, and this is the red cap one, and I think I have the orange cap one as well somewhere. Okay, can't
Snehal has
find it.
everything within one hand distance.
Everything has to be within my arm.
I have the other wala actually. Snehal, I'll complete the whole
Yeah,
वो
yeah.
cycle Snehal has started. ये वाला जो है. But I know what
It's
you're
BD,
asking
yeah, it's
about.
BD only, है ना?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
you're
I think
asking
I
about.
have always stuck with the BD company ka needles for syringes as well as pen needles.
Yeah.
So if there are any other companies that you guys have tried in, like let us know in the comments and we can see, like because I have never tried anything else other than these ones.
And you're not facing any bruises or anything.
Sometimes like it's quite rare, but sometimes if it hits your like any artery or something just beneath the skin, like कभी कभी हो जाता है, and I think I see more of them on my thighs जहाँ पे मैं बेसल का डोज लेती हूँ ना, तो वहाँ
Right.
पे I think there are like more or less some spots that arise because of the puncture that we do with the needle.
Yeah.
But other than that, on my tummy, whenever I take the bolus, I've never seen like any bruising or anything that happens. But once in a while, it's okay, and no need to worry also about it. वो चले जाता है एक दो दिन में. But in case if you are having like काफी ज्यादा bruising हो रहा है या काफी ज्यादा spots आ रहे हैं, then you probably need to recheck your injection technique. आप सही
Yeah.
से ले रहे हो कि नहीं ले रहे हो, that is something that needs to be rechecked. And we have a really nice video on our YouTube channel. I only have shot that. So if you have any questions, like go and check that video one more time.
Yes. And I have one more suggestion. I'm not a pen user, but I've been hearing pen users who say that, after injecting insulin निकल के आता है या bruise हो
Mm,
जाता है, the same concerns that you have. And what I understand is Now there are two lengths of the pen needle. One is 4 mm and one is 6 mm. So my suggestion is to avoid bruises, use the 6 mm wala needle. You know, it might seem counterintuitive because a lot of people think that short needle better hai. But it's not that way, because if somebody is very skinny or if they're a very small baby, and they're using a short needle, that's fine. But for us as adults,
Yeah,
to avoid that bruising and that sort of this thing, 6 mm use karna is a better option. But
yeah, yeah, I
whenever
agree.
you try, please do share how your feedback has been.
Yes, yes, yes. And one of the things that with the 6 mm one is like, because it goes a little deeper inside your skin, right? So जब आप रुकते हो 10-15 seconds and then you take it out, there are less chances of any insulin coming out
Yeah,
rather than using the 4 mm one. 4 mm में आपको ज़्यादा time रुकना पड़ेगा, like you have to wait like 30 seconds or more, and then when you take out, there's times when फिर भी आ ही जाता है वो थोड़ा सा बाहर. And then there's no way to understand कि कितना बाहर आया है, ज्यादा आया कम आया, like it becomes very difficult. So अगर
correct.
आपको भी ये प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि पेन लगाने के बाद इंसुलिन बाहर आ रहा है, then you have to wait for a little longer before you take out the pen.
जंप ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. क्या टाइप 1 डायबिटीज फॉर 24 ईयर्स को स्लीप इशू रहता है, लेट नाइट स्लीप आता है 2-3 AM को? आई थिंक ये काफी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है, क्योंकि रात को सोना ये सबसे बड़ा एक चैलेंज हो जाता है कभी कभी. एंड आई जस्ट क्विकली शेयर माई थॉट्स एंड देन हैंड ओवर टू स्नेहल ऑल्सो. आई थिंक एक है कि स्लीप हाइजीन मेंटेन करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है.
Yeah,
लेट सोने के कई रीजंस हो सकते हैं. जॉब, आपका टाइमिंग ऐसा हो, या आप पहले से आदत हो, या घर पे सब लोग लेट सोते हैं, कुछ भी इनमें से कोई भी रीजन हो सकता है. बट अगर आप नॉर्मली सुबह को टाइम पे उठते हो, जल्दी उठते हो, अगर आप दिन भर कुछ ना कुछ फिजिकल और मेंटल ली आप ऑक्यूपाइड हो, कुछ वॉक करते हो या स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग करते हो या बिजी हो किसी चीज में, तो आपका बॉडी जो है वो काफी एनर्जाइज रहता है, और रात तक धीरे धीरे फिर वो थक जाता है, और रात को बॉडी इज अगेन रेडी टू स्लीप. ऑल्सो शाम के बाद 8-9 बजे 10 बजे के बाद अपना फोन यूजेज भी थोड़ा कम कर सकते हैं. फोन का जो लाइट है वो बहुत ही उसको धीमा कर सकते हैं, ताकि you're not your eyes are not sort of getting impacted by the phone ka light also. And Snehal, over to you baki.
yeah. And I don't think so personally कि type 1 diabetes का और sleeping का कुछ like there's any relationship between them. I think sleeping is a general problem for everyone, like type diabetes or not diabetes. So they are like, if you Google a few things, you will come to know. जैसे नुपुर ने कहा फोन का यूजेज कम करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो फोन की जो व्हाइट लाइट ब्लू लाइट होती है, उससे योर माइंड इज लाइक स्टिल एक्टिवेटेड, यू आर नॉट रेडी फॉर स्लीप. इवन घर का लाइटिंग भी थोड़ा सा डिम करते हैं. दैट्स व्हाई पीपल लाइक tend to have the white light, yellow light, and like the medium light or whatever, like there are a lot of tips and tricks that you can use so that you can fall back onto your sleeping schedule. But it takes a lot of effort. इसमें मेहनत लगेगी. You'll have to put in some time and like conscious effort कि आप आपका sleep cycle जो है वो proper रखें. I also struggle with this a lot. But then I also have been trying a lot of things, meditation करना या फिर go for a small walk, and not to use phone like at least half an hour before you sleep. These are like a few tips and tricks. But type 1 diabetes ka and sleeping issues ka, there's no relationship, is what I wanted to highlight.
Also,
Sonali
मुझे ये
say, yeah, go ahead, go
हाँ,
ahead.
मुझे ये पता नहीं था पहले, लेकिन अपेरेंटली सो माय सिस्टर डज दिस, स्नेहल. अपेरेंटली फोन में देयर इज अ मोड जहाँ पे आप उसको ग्रे,
Yeah,
ग्रे स्केल और व्हाटएवर इट्स कॉल्ड समथिंग, तो आप वो मोड पे डाल दो. व्हेन योर फोन इज नॉट ब्राइट एंड इट डजंट हैव कलर्स, और वो सिर्फ ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट
yeah.
में है, तो आपको ही इंटरेस्ट नहीं होगा फोन यूज करने में. बिकॉज मुझे भी ये
That's
बहुत
not true.
प्रॉब्लम होती. Yeah, because I can't tear myself away from my phone for some reason. So that is a big challenge. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sonali is saying that meeting with fellow type 1s monthly has changed our lives, and that's why I always say it's very important that आपको मन करे नहीं करे, but still I think at Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation we have this monthly meetups in a lot of cities. So please, if
Yeah.
you're there in any of the cities, do join in, because the subconscious shift you will only know when you attend a few meetups, you know. एक या दो बार जाने से आपको नहीं पता चलेगा, but then there's this subconscious mindset changes that happen that helps you to acknowledge and accept your diabetes and to make those subtle changes, you know. जो आप
Yeah,
कितना भी ऐसे मेहनत करो कि अरे मैं शुगर बंद करूंगा या और I'll not eat this, I'll not eat that, ये सारी चीजें आप ऐसे ट्राई करोगे तो it becomes very difficult. But more and more, and when you start meeting your fellow peers who are living with the same condition, that subconscious shift only happens when you meet them, you know. And that's like my personal suggestion to everyone: if there's a blue circle meetup happening in your cities, please ensure that you make time and then you attend it and meet your other people in the city and like stay connected, you know. Like that's one of the things. And I always recommend the power of community and the power of peer support, you know. You will not realize it ऐसे जब मैं बात करूंगी, you will realize only when you meet other people, you know. Like, and you will feel that change within you. I think that that's very important if you're living with diabetes, because it's a chronic condition, you know. Like it's not going
yeah.
to go away. एक महीना या 2 महीना आप strictly कर लोगे तो ये नहीं जाने वाला. It's going to stay there with you for your life. Yeah, Nupur is showing us something.
Yes. I don't know अगर दिख रहा है clearly, but I'm trying to show the Facebook group. ये जो group है, इसमें ना यहाँ पे there are some tabs, okay, नीचे, and one of the tabs is called events. तो अगर आप
Hmm.
events पे click करोगे, I know this is not perfectly visible maybe, but you will see all the upcoming events in
Yeah.
that tab. So if you go there now, you'll see that 9th नवंबर को फॉर एग्जाम्पल पुणे में पिकनिक है. देयर इज अ पॉटलक पिकनिक. अपना अपना डब्बा लेके आओ सब लोग, एंड देन लेट्स ऑल मीट एंड बातें करेंगे. और दैट्स वन थिंग. देन मुंबई में है 23rd of November को कॉफी कैचअप. दिल्ली में है 17th को, जयपुर में 16th. So like Snehal has been saying, we've been trying to create very active in-person communities also. Online भी ज़रूरी है, लेकिन in-person मिलना भी बहुत ही important है, क्योंकि it's fun. And even doesn't matter if you're extrovert or you're an introvert or whatever you are, whichever side you fall on, please come. You're most welcome. We won't force you to talk if you don't want to talk, but do join in. Since we are at midpoint more or less, or a little over half time, मुझे एक चीज पूछनी है. So what sort of workshops would people like to see? If that is also something that you all can share in the comments section, that would be very helpful. And then we'll move on to the other. I see Samihan has shared some
Yeah.
things. We'll move on to that. But आप लोग किस तरह के वर्कशॉप्स देखना चाहोगे, किस टॉपिक पे वर्कशॉप देखना चाहोगे, वो प्लीज कमेंट्स में शेयर करें. लेट अस नो. We've been doing this for many years, but sometimes we've done various topics, but if there's something that you want कि हाँ ये cover होना चाहिए, please let us know and we'll try and plan that quickly.
So Nupur, you want to take Samihan's question? He wants to know about DIY looping.
Yeah. So, Samihan, I know I saw your post and we were chatting earlier, and I think kahin na kahin that conversation perhaps got a little left behind. But so you want to do DIY looping? You've seen the video, and you would like to use Omnipod, which is not available in India, which we know. And well, Samihan, here's the challenge in my opinion. The loopable जो pumps हैं, the 722 Medtronic and the 715 and the other older pumps, those are not sold anymore. So they used to be sold until 2 3 years back, but now the company has stopped it. So if you're not able to get your hands on a pump, then doing DIY looping is going to be a challenge. Now about Omnipod, one, it's a lot more expensive than all the other pumps. That is one. And the second thing is you have to change the whole thing every 3 days or so. So I mean, as long as you know what you're looking for and what you're getting into, so when you say monthly supplies, it's basically you're applying the entire pump on yourself, and then after 3 days you're throwing that out and applying another pump. So that is how the Omnipod works. And I know that there's a lot of draw with regards to the Omnipod, क्योंकि tubeless है and whatnot. But like everything else in diabetes, it comes with its pros and cons. So very briefly, that's that. But with another quick thought that comes to my mind is, with DIY looping, you need a lot of hardware also. You need programming knowledge, which if you're open to learning, there are guides online that you can sort of dive into and learn. But you also need a lot of hardware. So आपको लगेगा इसमें एक insulin pump जो है compatible. So one of the older pumps. Then you will require something called a Riley link. Then you will require a CGM, and mind you, our Libres and Libre Pros are not CGMs, So then you'll have to also buy a Meow Meow, and a bunch of other things to make it work. And one thing that blocks me, is that our Libre Pro and this whole Libre also are not always very spot on, like sometimes the accuracy is a little bit, थोड़ा सा डामाडोल है. तो if your insulin pump, if you're programming it in such a way that it should give you insulin based on the सेंसर का रीडिंग, और अगर आपका सेंसर का रीडिंग ही थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ है, तो फिर वो क्या, व्हाट
Yeah.
is your pump going to inject you, and then what are your chances of hypos and hypers that way. But that's just my like cursory thoughts, and I'll wait for your comments to come in as well.
Samian is asking Omnipod Dash is available in India?
कोई भी ओमनीपॉड नहीं है समीहन इंडिया में. सो ओमनीपॉड एज अ
Yeah.
कंपनी इज नॉट हियर, इट्स नेवर बीन हियर, and I don't think they have any plans as of now to be here. So there is, so the people who get it, I know you were asking on your Facebook post also, the very few people that use Omnipod in India, they have some arrangement. They may have somebody abroad who is sending it to them, or they may be traveling and bringing it, because anything you get from abroad will attract customs and the other taxes as well. So and I think those taxes are also pretty high, like they're about 50% of the value of the product, more or less. So um, I mean, even if you do get an Omnipod, then you're relying on a sensor that's not like super accurate.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a lot of understanding of what you want to get into, like, and plus the financial aspect of it as well, how much or like for how long you can have that continuous supply of Omnipod, and like how much mental energy you want to put into that programming and ensuring that all the devices are working properly, and the accuracy is up to the mark, So there's a lot of things that you will have to sit and understand the pros and cons, and then figure it out if you want to do it or not,
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashlesha says that she was using the syringes from Jan Aushadhi, but the quality of those was inferior. Okay, like Nupu, have you ever tried any other syringes or pen needles? I think other than the ones we showed.
No, no, I've never tried.
No.
Actually, मुझे अश्लेषा को यही पूछना है that can you share a photo of the syringe,
Yeah,
that you have got from Jan Aushadhi on the Facebook group, because I'm curious now. मुझे भी याद नहीं है क्या syringe है वहाँ पे. But is it the same BD syringe that Snehal was showing, or is it some other? Actually, I've never heard of any other syringe company.
yeah, same. Yeah,
है ना?
yeah.
In the
Exactly.
chat,
And
I'm
I don't think
seeing.
so. Like, even when we went to Jan Aushadhi, I think you and me, Nupur, both, we never thought of asking also about the syringes,
Yeah, yeah,
because we were always under the impression कि बस वो BD का ही एक company है जो syringes और needles बनाता है, and then we are supposed to stick with that, But
yeah, yeah.
I think Rajiv ji has mentioned HMD for pen needles, and that is another brand, like
Even
I think I'll have.
Ypsomed has पेन नीडल्स. तो Ypsomed के भी नीडल्स हैं, और एक कंपनी भी है, बट आई नो दैट वन ऑफ द मोस्ट कॉमन वंस इज व्हाट स्नेहल वाज सेइंग, बीडी कंपनी के नीडल्स आर मोस्ट कॉमन
Yeah.
वंस. सो
And I think that they have become quite cheap as well now, so there's not much impact of the finances over there. ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत महंगा है. And when you change your pens, or when you change your pen needles, or when you change your syringes, I think that's up to you. I think for me, after a lot of not changing the needles and the syringes for a long time. I have stuck to like weekly changing my all the needles, like I keep
Yeah.
an alarm every Sunday कि भाई आज
Achha.
दिन है, आज हमको सारी नीडल्स, सारे पेन नीडल्स, सब कुछ चेंज करना है. माइंड यू, डेफिनेटली नॉट द लैंसेट.
Yeah, yeah, Lancet तो I don't know 10 साल हम लोग चेंज नहीं करते हैं.
Yes. But at least for the syringes and the pen needles, I change it weekly. Like no matter how many times I use it. कभी कभार ज्यादा टाइम हो जाता है, कभी कभार दिन में 4 या 5 बार हो जाता है. But sometimes if there's like the last week I was sick, so I was taking very short correction dose. Like two
Yeah,
units ka. So maybe I used my syringe maybe 10 times a day.
yeah.
So irrespective of that, I change my needles and syringes every Sunday, and I keep an alarm for myself. So that's the thing that I am following.
That's interesting. I do it a bit randomly, but this is a good idea. Like I like the Sunday to Sunday wala
Yeah.
alarm idea also. Samihan is asking what are the costs for the DIY thing. Samihan, in my understanding, the one-time cost for the hardware and the software, will be there. Whether you buy a Riley link or an Orange link, uska cost hoga. Then if you're buying a pump, uska cost hoga. The running cost of the pump by itself, whether you do DIY looping or not, वो तो है ही क्योंकि पंप के लिए you'll buy the infusion set, you'll buy the reservoirs. So whether you do looping or not, that is ongoing. Then there'll be some developer costs and other things. So these may not be monthly; they may be yearly or uh, I mean not monthly, but maybe some
The
other sort
one-time
of.
cost plus the monthly, like whatever the
Yeah.
the recurring cost that keeps on happening, maybe once a month or like once in 2 months. So that is something that you'll have to take note of.
And he's also asking if the 780 is as good as the DIY loop. I can see Samihan ke mind mein pumps are the latest thing. Good to hear from you, Samihan. I was wondering where you've been. So it's really nice to see you back and active on the group. But 780 ka, I mean, it's a commercially available sort of looping hybrid looping pump. And those who are watching and wondering what we are talking about something called an insulin pump, which is a small mechanical device जो बॉडी पे रहता है और इंसुलिन देता है बॉडी को. अब ये जो लूपिंग है इसमें टू टाइप्स ऑफ लूपिंग है. वन इज DIY जो आपको खुद को बेसिकली यू हैव टू बिल्ड योर ओन ऐप. यू नो so you have to have, even if you don't have the knowledge, you have to have the patience to do it from scratch. And अगर वो कभी क्रैश हो जाए, कभी कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाए, फिर आपको अपना एज लाइक अ डेवलपर यू विल हैव टू सिट एंड फिगर इट आउट कि क्या प्रॉब्लम है. वो है DIY looping. And the other one is 780G pump, where you purchase that pump. The pump costs 6 lakhs, and you use it with a sensor. तो कंपनी आपको मेट्रॉनिक कंपनी का सेंसर भी मिलता है, पंप भी मिलता है, दोनों को साथ में यूज इट. सोनाली इज इन द चैट एंड Samihan, you should also connect with Sonali and Rama from Pune as well, because Rama has been using the 780. I'll also share a couple of videos for the 780 pump, and I know that they are loving it. And I think like one thing that sort of occurred to my mind is that the pump has a threshold, if I'm not wrong, Sonali, please correct me if I'm wrong, of 100 mgdl. So it won't let you go below 100 mgdl, but that doesn't mean that you can't get a hypo. आपको hypo फिर भी हो सकता है, but that's where the pump really targets that your sugar should be. So that is something that I wasn't I was not considering the 780 at all. But like that is something that would stop me from wanting to get a 780, because I would want my target a little bit lower than that. I wouldn't always want 100. So I mean, whether it's as good or not, I think the DIY offers some flexibility on the positive side. But on the negative side, the DIY is a very hands on system. So if you have a lot of time and inclination to learn very quickly, then that's an option. But I think given that pumps available nahi hai, doing DIY is increasingly becoming more difficult. I'll pause here.
Yeah. And Neelam has a question. I think she's using Nutrimix uh, to to her daughter with milk as it is made without sugar. So if she uses one scoop, the levels are fine. If she uses two scoop, then there's a spike in it.
ये
So
न्यूट्रीमिक्स क्या
she's
है? बिकॉज
actually
काफी
saying
पेरेंट्स, स्नेहल, मैंने ग्रुप्स पे भी काफी सुना है कि बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स न्यूट्रीमिक्स न्यूट्रीमिक्स, आई हैव बीन हियरिंग दिस रिसेंटली इन द लास्ट
hmm,
फ्यू मंथ्स, and it sounds like, I mean, I don't know what it is, I'm looking it up, but it sounds like some version of Bonvita Horlicks ka healthy,
yeah,
that is the
yeah,
vibe that I'm
yeah,
getting. uh,
yeah.
but I'm just going to
So
quickly,
her
you know,
Needham's
while
question is basically, is it good to have it or not? Because her daughter doesn't like drinking plain milk, you know. So maybe I think we can do a quick search on the ingredient and the label list, and because sugar free to bol rahe hai, but then
बोलिए,
sugars and the carbs and everything, you know.
मतलब मैं समझ
And
सकती हूँ,
do you
प्लेन
need
मिल्क
to?
तो मुझे भी नहीं पसंद है एक्चुअली, तो इतने बड़े होने के बाद भी प्लेन मिल्क मैं नहीं पी सकती हूँ, तो बच्चों के लिए तो, बट आई एम जस्ट क्विकली लुकिंग, इट सेज दैट इट डजंट हैव, इट डजंट हैव शुगर, बट इट हैज जैगरी एंड डेट्स, सो वो मतलब शुगर ही समझ लो, इट्स नॉट रियली sugar free.
Hmm.
So that is one thing, and then it also has
Yeah.
millets.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't know. See, yeah,
Neelam has also written that it has ragi, bajra, and jaggery. So definitely, I can just by reading these names, I know that there would be good amount of carb content in it. You know, so maybe like scoop per scoop wise, how much carbs are we expecting? I think understanding that would be important. क्योंकि उसके बेसिस पे आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो कि कितना बोलस लगेगा, है ना, कि हर
yeah.
स्कूप में कितना ग्राम ऑफ कार्ब्स हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं.
करेक्ट। और ये जो रागी और गुड़ और ये सब है, ये वैसे भी काफ़ी हाई कार्ब है, तो आप फिर अपने हिसाब से सोचो, मतलब अगर आपको, आई अंडरस्टैंड कि एज़ अ मदर ऑलरेडी बहुत सारी चीज़ें आप कर रहे हो, एंड मैं ये नहीं चाहती हूँ कि मैं और एक आपको बोलूँ कि अब आप ये भी फ्रॉम स्क्रैच आप बनाओ, लेकिन एक ऑप्शन है कि अगर आपने घर पे नट्स जो है, बादाम है, वॉलनट्स हैं, कैशू नट्स हैं, अगर आप नट्स का पाउडर बनाते हो, कोर्स पाउडर, थोड़े पीसेस या जैसे भी बच्चे को
हम्म,
पसंद हो, तो वो आप बना लो, उसमें थोड़ा सा स्टीविया ऐड कर लो, तो वो भी एक मिल्क में डालने के लिए एक ऑप्शन है, जिससे शुगर्स नहीं बढ़ेंगे, जितना द न्यूट्री मिक्स विल स्पाइक, उतना ये स्पाइक नहीं होगा.
yeah, yeah.
So is Medtronic the only pump? Yes, Samihan. No, actually there are two companies. There's Medtronic and there's Ypsomed.
Hmm.
Ypsomed say you cannot do DIY looping. And Medtronic के पुराने pumps say you can do DIY looping, and those pumps are sadly not available anymore. Until few years back, they were being sold, but now it's a collector's item. अभी जिसके पास है, if only if they sell it to you, then you may have it. But other than that, and the problem with selling and buying, as you can guess, is that if you buy it from someone, then it's not under any kind of warranty, guarantee, nothing. Then you're using a second-hand product at your own sort of risk. Not much risk, but that you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah, yeah. There's a comment from Asra. She's saying that she uses both Dash and Trio and 780G Medtronic depending on whatever's happening in her life. But I think Asra, you are staying in the Saudi, right? If I'm not wrong. And I think the insurance and the availability of technology is very different than what we have in India. So it's great that you have access to everything that's required for better diabetes management. But I think for Indian consumers, it's a little different and it's a little difficult as well, considering that everything is out of pocket expenses for us, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. I'm going to ask one more time because we have a few minutes. I'm really enjoying chatting with Snehal as always. लेकिन I'm also very aware कि usually हम लोग 6 बजे खत्म करते हैं, and we have about 5 minutes to go. So
yeah.
one quick call to ask, what type of workshops would you all like to see? That's one. And any last questions? Thank you guys for keeping it so active and really giving us a lot to chat about.
Yeah.
So these
Hi,
two things.
Lucy.
Hi.
Neelam
Is
is
it
asking that is it okay to use stevia frequently? So,
I think it's absolutely okay to use stevia. I mean, definitely 100%. If you use sugar, that is not healthy for anyone.
Yeah.
Diabetic, non-diabetic, anybody. Sugar is the white poison, they call it, right? They call it like cocaine. So definitely sugar is not super healthy as an option if you're asking. And stevia is made out of stevia leaves. Yes, the stevia that you get in the market is processed, because if you try eating the stevia leaves, it's not a lot of fun. But I
Yeah.
definitely think you can use stevia. I don't use it every day because मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है. Chai, coffee में, in my tea and coffee, I don't need sweet anything. But if I have something sweet like a mithai or a chocolate, then I definitely would use something that's made of stevia.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if you can you do like a quick search on a Facebook group, you will find some amazing recipes that Nupur has shared using stevia and some easily available ingredients. I remember your strawberry jam recipe, Nupur. That was
Yeah.
really nice. And she has shared, I think, some coconut laddus or something like that as well. So use the search option in the Facebook group and you will find amazing recipes shared by lovely community members as well. So there lot of recipes, lot of options for you to try, low carb and like with stevia, without stevia, and like lot of options. So use that. And also there's a recipe section on the Blue Circle Diabetes app as well. Again, lot of amazing low carb recipes shared by our community members with pictures and like understanding of the macros. So that is also one place you can look at.
Yes. All the pump options in India, good idea. If anyone knows the upcoming pump options. हाँ, upcoming तो I doubt यार कुछ आएगा, but I think this we can do. We can have somebody that uses a basic Medtronic pump, hybrid closed loop, and then
Yeah,
Gipsomed also. That's thank you, Samihan.
great idea. Noted, Samir.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you,
And
Neelam. Yeah, it was great talking to you as well.
yes, and we are perfectly on time, Snehal.
Yes, yes, yes. I think me and Nupur can continue chatting forever if no one
Yeah,
stops us.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
But really fun. Some of the AMAs that we've done before, like sometimes you're like running out of steam, or you're thinking, okay, what do I talk about now? But I think this one's just been like
yeah.
one thing after
Free
another,
flow.
and free flow, very much.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
Samihan, Pakka, we'll plan it soon.
yes,
All
absolutely.
right. Thank you, everyone. And, don't forget to, you know, like Snehal said, stay connected with us on all platforms,
Yeah.
follow us on Facebook and on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and whatnot. Um, and
And thank you
also,
so much, everyone, for joining us on a Sunday evening and spending time with Nupur and myself. And we had a lovely
yes,
time chatting with you all. And if there are any more questions or any more like doubts or like things that you want to know, you can use the comment option under this video, or you can use the Facebook group, which is always accessible and available to you. So yes, I think we would like to end this workshop now, and I think we should do this more often. This was quite fun,
yeah.
and see you all next Sunday again at the same time, 5 p.m. on the Facebook group and the Facebook page as well. Thank you. Bye bye. Good evening. Bye.
Bye.